Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Saturday, 4th March 2023. Today was match day and kind of went as I expected in yesterday's video variety. I gave my prediction after speaking about the preview and predictions from various other websites. And I actually predicted it was going to be a 2-3 game. Quite remarkably, there have been a number of 2-3 games over the years at the Den between Millwall and Norwich, and this was another one, and it wasn't for the want of trying. It was how I expected it to be. Norwich trying to keep it tight, not really succeeding. We take the lead, and then they have to come out and respond. They did, and quite remarkably, they responded from two corners, which was not expected, but hey ho. So Mill defeated in breathless and Norwich encounter. This is from millfc.co.uk, the club's official website. Millwall were defeated 3-2 by Norwich City in the Sky Bet Championship on Saturday afternoon. Tom Bradshaw's 13th goal of the season opened the scoring in South London, but Jacob Sorensen's strike level mattered shortly before half-time. An unfortunate Bradshaw own goal and an attempt from Gabriel Sara then put Norwich 3-1 up, with Zonflin's header sadly proving no more than a consolation despite a late onslaught for the Lions. Lions boss Garrett made two changes for the visit of the Canaries as George Saville returned from injury to replace Jamie Shackleton, who took a knock on Tuesday night, whilst Oliver Burke replaced Andreas Vogelsammer, who dropped to the substitutes bench, backed by an 18,000 plus crowd inside SC16. Another record, by the way, more on that later. Let's carry on with the match. The Lions started the match on the front foot and attempted a couple of pot shots at the Norwich goal, but the visitors' defence stood firm. First time either goalkeeper was worked saw George Long easily gather a free kick from Gabriel Sara, but with 20 minutes on the clock, the Lions were 1-0 up after a high ball was nodded on by Fleming and into the path of Bradshaw, who shrugged off the attention of two Norwich defenders, slot past Angus Gunn from just inside the area. If you haven't seen the highlights yet, I suggest you do, because that goal is sublime. And what do I mean by that? Well, the ball was played forward, Bradshaw made the run, but the ball was slightly behind. So he flicks his foot up and just back heels it, the slightest small little touch with the back of his heel forwards into his path of where he was running. It was absolutely sublime from Tom Bradshaw, that was. The Lions' tails are up following that strike, with Burke breaking through and firing just wide of the far post moments later. Before a flowing move involving George Honeyman, Murray Wallace and Bradshaw ended with the Scotsman's cross being directed wide by a Welshman. With 37 minutes played, however, the Canaries were level as a smart corner kick routine allowed Sorensen to blast home past the collective efforts of Fleming and Long from the edge of the area. Yeah, a lot of people digging Long out for that, but Fleming was on the front post and he didn't get out. When you're on the post, they tell you got to get out. Why? Because if you stay on the post and on the line, you're playing everyone on side. So you've got to get the fuck out. Now he didn't. He was 2 feet in front of George Long as George Long's diving down to try and save that ball or just parry it away. And he couldn't sit probably because Zara Fleming's in front of it. So that was not good. Now, another thing, obviously I think when we're defending corners usually, maybe Bradshaw would stay up, or if someone would stay up, maybe Fleming. But obviously we've got Oliver Burke with his pace, so he would be the one staying up. Just because he's got the pace and he can damage him on the counter. So I don't know if that played into the situation, whether he wasn't expected to be on the front post, but kind of weird to have. I know he's technically a midfielder. He's basically a striker, isn't he? He's a joint top scorer this season. To have him doing defensive work on the front post. But again, I don't. With all the with all the changes with the formations, players getting injured and coming back in, do they know where they're supposed to go defending set pieces? And when you have when we're playing games midweek, midweek, was that worked on during the midweek? Did we have time to do that? Don't know, because we conceded 2 goals from corners today, so maybe that was a situation that wasn't transmitted to the players properly or thoroughly. I don't know. As half time approached, Charlie Cresswell had to slice away from danger with Timu Puki lurking, with referee Graham Scott blowing the whistle with the score at 1-1. Anel Hernandez and Pookie were the ones Norwich at the start of the second half. It was Sara's powerful effort, which had long reaching to tip over the bar on 54 minutes. From the resulting corner, however, the visitors were able to nudge themselves in front. Fortunate circumstances as with routine ended with Bradshaw deflecting the ball into his own net. It was fired in. It was flashed in to go across the front, like across the goal. Along the line of the 6-yard box. So quick that Bradshaw just couldn't really get out of the way of it and just hit because he had his legs open a little bit and it just hit the far leg and then went towards goal, and it was in the back of the net. The Lions were straight back in the hunt for an equaliser from there and saw Burke's cross pushed behind. Cresswell then heading the resulting kick wide, brought another cross from the Werder Bremen loan. He was headed across goal by Bradshaw, but well saved by Gunn. Jake Cooper then looked an effort towards goal, but was stopped by Gunn. But at the other end, a smart turn and finish from Sara crashed in off the crossbar to give the Canaries a 3-1 lead. Yeah, the geezer spun like a ballerina, and then he was allowed to do that, and there was literally no one around, no Millwall. I think they're all a bit ball watching. After Duncan Watmore, Vogelsama and Roman were all introduced with a little over 20 minutes to play. Ryan Leonard's shot was deflected towards goal as Millwall looked for a way back into the game, but if not for long, pushing Pookie's header around the post, then Norwich may have had a fourth. Cresswell's header was easy enough for Gunn with 10 minutes to play, but the goalkeeper couldn't stop flicking his bullet header from 83 minutes as he met Vogelsama's corner to power home and reduce the deficit. Yeah, another assist for Vogelsama. So what does Vogelsama do? Well, he's got the ability to play balls into areas where they are dangerous, including corners. So maybe he put him on the free kicks as well. I'll tell him not to shoot. Scott Malone and George Evans for the 6-minute period of injury time, but the latter failed to trouble Gunn from the edge of the penalty area with a shot, while the Fulham's drive from 30 yards was saved by the goalkeeper. In an agonising last few minutes, Bradshaw's shot was then cleared off the line by Grant Anley before the referee blew time on a breathless encounter and the first defeat in 12 matches for Millwall. Yes, that was another factor coming into the game. Undefeated in 12 games at the Den. That run needed to end sometime. And as these runs go on and on and on and on, more likely of them ending, the probability goes up. It's like if you're playing, I've mentioned this before, if you're on a roulette wheel and you're there but you're not gambling, and it comes up red, then it comes up red, then it comes up red, then it comes up red, and then you think, hang on, I should put some money on red. So you put your money down on red, then it comes up black. Because the longer that kind of situation happens, that streak of things, it's more likely to flip the other way, especially when you've got a situation where we had today where Norwich would absolve this. Norwich were the team that was supposed to run away with the league this year. Everyone was saying that they were going to win the league at the start of the season, and they've been absolutely awful all season. They've got a new manager. He's turned it around a little bit. They've built themselves way back up to the edge of the playoffs, and then they get a situation today where they can beat a team in the playoffs, and that will instantly push them up into the playoffs and take us down. And it will also, you see how we're for them to beat us at home is a statement win for them. So it helps them puff their chests up. Think, maybe we are as good as we were supposed to be at the start of the season. So yeah, so the team was Long, Cooper, Cresswell, McNamara, Wallace, Honeyman, Saville, Fleming, Burke, Leonard, and Bradshaw. The subs were Malone on 89 minutes for Wallace, Vogelsammer on 69 minutes for Honeyman, Watmore on 68 minutes for Saville, Essay on 69 minutes for Burke, and Evans on 89 minutes for Leonard. And the unused subs were Biakovsky and Hutchinson. And just wanted to note again, the attendance was 18,785, which is yet again another record. We have broken the league attendance at the New Den 2 times in the last month, against Sunderland and now against Norwich. Again with the assistance of the away fans, 2,944. But can that be broken again going forward? Because these dickheads threw flares on the pitch when they scored. And apparently one of them hit a ball boy in the shoulder. So that's going to fuck us up a bit. And we might be restricted with how many home away fans we can go. Don't know where it come from. Was it the lower or the upper? I wasn't really looking at the time. But yeah, not a good situation for Norwich fans. Like what flares? I think that was the first. Was that the first flare since Charlton? You only get muggy clubs throwing flares these days. It's just a complete muggy thing to do. So let's move on to this from southwarknews.co.uk. It's takeaways from the game at the end of their match report, which I'm not going to read because I just read you a match report. So keep calm and carry on. Keep calm and carry on. Defeat today is far from ideal. It knocks Millwall out of the top 6 and they no longer have a game in hand on their rivals. Had they picked up all 3 points against Luton, it would have been seen as a bump in the road, but now it puts pressure on the line to turn things around. That said, they have lost just 3 games in 2023 and are blessed with an easier running than the teams above them, but there is no need to lose any hope of going into the 11 Championship game. Indeed. But you could spin it around and go, well, we've got to play Luton and we've got to play Blackburn. More on that later, especially Blackburn. Now, if we had to play the teams in the playoffs, if we beat them, like as I mentioned about Norwich beating us today, if we beat in the future Luton and we get to leapfrog them, we can jump up. So maybe having more games against the teams in the playoffs is a good thing. Although, having said that, you could go the other way again and say we are in wherever we are 7th place, having played a lot of the teams at the top of the table. We now have to play quite a few teams at the bottom of the table, and you would imagine if we can, well, this is Millwall, so it's usually upside down. We play well against the good teams and not so good against the lesser teams, but we could get results against the lesser teams now, and then the teams above us will, I would presume, have to play each other, and that will help us out. But you never know. The home run ends. Mill's last home defeat in the Championship came all the way back on September 14th, which was a 2-0 loss to then high-flying QPR. Where are they now? Exactly. Their performances at the Den have been nothing short of remarkable, downing the likes of Middlesbrough, West Brom and Sheffield United while drawing league leaders Burnley last month. All good things must come to an end, but the Lions have to make sure they don't suffer any more defeats in this season. Well, we've got 6 more home games this season, so an undefeated run of 6 or even 6 home wins in a row would be a good number, and it wouldn't be that frightening as to keep it going on. Bradders Zion bag number 13. It may seem insignificant given the defeat, but Millwall had 2 players on 13 goals heading into the final 11 games of the season. That's pretty incredible given their struggles up front in recent years. Bradshaw shouldered the burden of being the only out-and-out striker in the squad, putting his body on the line to deliver consistent performances, while Fleming has shown remarkable quality in his debut season in English football. If they can stay fit until the end of the season, the Lions have every chance of securing that top 6 finish indeed. And Bradshaw, when he was signed, a lot of money at the time for us. He's been eclipsed by the Zion Fleming signing, but at the time Bradshaw, I believe it was a record breaker, which was then beaten by Leonard, or maybe the other way around. But he's finally flourishing. He's doing it, and as I said, the goal today, check it out and see that little touch that he made. Bit of genius there. But yeah, but is this a good thing? Is this a bad thing? Rowett mentioned in midweek, he's saying, well, we need goals from elsewhere on the pitch. I think we do, because if Zion and Bradshaw aren't on it, then how are we going to score? And we usually get a lot of goals from set pieces, but that's dried up. And I think it's still the situation that Cresswell was our third highest scorer. They're trying to say it's Watmore, but he hasn't scored for us. He scored with Middlesbrough. They don't count those goals. For us, it's still Cresswell on like 4 goals. So you got Bradshaw and then Zion 13 each, and then it drops down all the way to Cresswell. And we certainly do need more goals from elsewhere on the pitch. Maybe Oliver Berg, he's had the chances, just hasn't scored them. Obviously had an illness that saw him out of the team. Can he get a run in the team, and can he get his eye in and get those goals? That would be good. That would be good. Now, at today's game, in that record-breaking crowd, was a VIP. FIFA President Gianni Infantino makes shock appearance at the Den for Millwall versus Norwich City. Indeed, supporters were surprised to see one of the biggest figures in world football watching the Lions match in SC16 this afternoon. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has been spotted at the Den for Millwall's home clash against Norwich City. Infantino, a Swiss football administrator who has held his current position since 2019, has been in London for the IFAB conference. As a result, he asked the Lions if he could attend a championship match against David Wagner's Canaries, who sat 2 points beneath them in 7th going into the trip to SC16. Some observant fans were able to spot Infantino in the executive area of the stadium. The cameras going on to show him on the big screen early on in the game. Not surprised. I mean, in terms of games in London today, you've got Arsenal and you've got Chelsea. He certainly wouldn't have Chelsea to turn to shit under their new manager. Well, the Arsenal game would have been probably a bit exciting unless he left early, because Arsenal were 2-0 down and came back to win 3-2. Yeah, he looked at Arsenal, looked at Chelsea, thought, fuck that rubbish, I'm going down the Den, and there he is. I don't know if he stayed to the end, but certainly wasn't an exciting finish, even though we didn't get the result that we probably wanted. So yeah, there you go, there he is. Yeah, it's VIP Gianni Infantino, the head of FIFA, no less, at the Den. He knows what's up. Now, moving on to the post-match comments from the managers. Firstly, from Gary Rowett, LondonNewsOnline.co.uk. Millwall boss gives his verdict after their unbeaten league record then comes to an end. Millwall manager Gary Rowett felt their side got no fortune as their unbeaten league record at the Den was ended by Norwich City. The Lions had not lost in SC16 since September, a run of 11 games heading into the match. FIFA President Gianni Infantino in the capital for IFAB's AGM was a surprise spectator for the first half. So, was he only there for the first half? Oh dear. And then they go on about talking about the match. Okay. There are a couple of things that probably played a factor today. We had the midweek game in Norwich, said Rowett. Norwich are on a really good upturn of form with David coming in as manager. They're a good side to move the ball well. They're probably up there with Burnley in terms of having both sides of the game. They do move the ball very quickly, just like a Premiership team. It was pretty similar to the Sheffield United game where people probably didn't expect us to go and get a result. But we were excellent for the first 30 minutes and pressed Norwich really well. We caused a very technical team a lot of problems in the way we won the ball back. We scored a very good goal, a great bit of play. It shows Brad is oozing confidence at the moment in those goal scoring positions. It's a lovely, lovely finish. 1-0 up is a position we've been quite comfortable in for a long time. We had a chance just after that where Berkey's effort was just wide of the post. Up to that point, the performance was excellent. Then we conceded a really poor goal. There were a couple of bits of fortune that went against us today. Sometimes that happens. It's a corner where they get the shot in. But it doesn't look like it's going to cause us a massive problem. Zion is just in front of Longy, and if Zion clears it, it's no problem. Zion leaves it and Longy saves it, no problem. And what you don't want is it just to slice off Zion's foot. It looked like you just got a touch. Oh, okay. I didn't see that in the highlights. We had a 15 to 20 minute spell where Norwich started to pin us back with their possession. And what you don't want to do at the start of the second half is just give a goal away. Again, it's a quick corner where they run off us. It hits Bradders on the shin and it goes in. To be 2-1 down at that point is usually disappointing. We worked incredibly hard to be in the game. And it ends off there, so. Does it end off there? Because weird position to end. They just ends at 2-1. He doesn't talk about the rest of the game. Maybe they run out of space. I don't know. Weird. Moving on to the Norwich boss. They've got this is from londonnewsonline.co.uk. They've got quotes from the Norwich boss. Norwich City boss Wagner delighted to see off Millwall. Very, very intense then. Norwich City manager David Wagner has given his verdict on their 3-2 win at Millwall today. The Canaries moved up to 6th in the championship table with their opponents dropping to 7th after their first home league reverse in September. A crowd of 18,785, Millwall's highest attendance for a league game since moving into the new den, witnessed the match which ebbed and flowed. Again, like I said, record attendance for a league game. Second time in a month we've broken it. So the fans are back in the team. The fans are back in the team. Wagner said, I didn't know they hadn't lost in September, but it's a massive win for us, for sure it is. We started not at our best. The occasion, the atmosphere was very, very intense. We conceded a very avoidable goal, and one we'd worked hard on the whole week, how we would defend these situations. The mistakes that happened in this situation should not happen, but they are humans. How we reacted was great. We played for periods some very good football in difficult circumstances here. We created good opportunities and scored wonderful goals. We brought it over the line with this commitment, attitude, fighting spirit, and togetherness was great. Psychologically, it's another important win for us. They are a good side. They can always put pressure on you. They are always dangerous set pieces and throw-ins. It's a very pragmatic style. But it plays to their strength. It's anything but easy against them. And I'm very, very happy that we won today. They have a certain length in their team, and it's something we thought maybe we could exploit. It's always important to have good ideas, but then it's about the execution of the guys to make it at the right moment and then to score. We saw today how important set pieces are. They scored from one as well. I'm absolutely delighted with the performance and the result as well, because I know how difficult it is at Millwall. We are in the top 6 now, but if the table was irrelevant for the last 8 weeks, why should it now be important? It isn't. At the moment, it's not important. The only important thing is Sunday against Sunderland. Today it was Millwall. This is where our focus will be. So there you go, David Wagner there. So, as he said, they were focused on this game. They were able to focus all week because they didn't have a game midweek, unlike us. And that was probably the difference, to be fair. I think they were working on their set pieces and we weren't working on defending. Now, what does that do? Here's the table from whoscored.com. Here's the rest of the results. Middlesbrough smashed Reading. Stoke smashed Sunderland. Anything else? I don't think the results went our way really. Luton beat Swansea. Blackburn beat Sheffield United, which not really helpful for us. So yeah, bad day all round. As you can see here, down to 7th, and there are no games in hand. This is it. This is it now. And we're 1 point off Norwich in 6th. We're 3 points off Luton in 5th, and we're 4 points off Blackburn in 4th. But only 6 points off Middlesbrough in 3rd. But again, 6 points is a lot because look on the right hand side. The teams are not losing. It's us and Sheffield United. They're the only team that's got 2 defeats or more in the last 6 games. All of the other teams are winning and drawing now, not losing. Now, like I said before, those streaks need to end. So maybe they're going to lose in the next game, and we can take advantage of that. But yeah, this is it now. It's a very fine margin. It sees us out of the group. In terms of the goal difference, teams above us all have better goal difference except Blackburn. So, how many places? How many of these teams are going? They're not all going to fall away. How many will? 2? Are we competing for? Is it going to be 3 for 2 places? 4 for 2 places? Who's competing for the places? But yeah, could it be Blackburn? Now, why could it be Blackburn? Now, I don't know if you know this, Blackburn are in the FA Cup quarter final, and the draw has put them against Sheffield United, who believe that they beat today. Did they not? But it was at home, so they can beat them. They beat them at home. So here's the thing: FA Cup quarter final, Blackburn beat Sheffield United. That would be fantastic for us. Why? Because the semi-final is supposed to be on the 22nd of April. Now, that means that the game they've got, which I believe is against Preston North End, a bit of a local game, will have to be moved. Now, it can't be moved to the immediate midweek on the 25th, because guess what? There's already a game there against Burnley. So you know what? It's going to have to be moved to the game the week after, which will be the midweek before we play them. Literally, in the last week of the season, we play them on the 8th of May. They're going to have to play in that midweek around, what would that be, the 4th of May? So, on the March the 19th, I'm sure we're all going to cheer for Blackburn to beat Sheffield United to get in the FA Cup semi-final, because then that will mean that situation will occur, and it could literally be as thin margins as that, because as we've seen, they are the oddballs. They've lost the most amount of games in the top half of the table, 13. They've only got a goal difference of 1, although they do keep winning recently. They've only drawn 4 games. They've scored less goals than us. They've scored 39 goals. We've scored more goals than 45. They've conceded the same amount of goals as us, though. So maybe it's, who are we targeting? Could be Luton, it could be Blackburn, because we still have to play Luton, we still have to play Blackburn. As like I said before, these are the games where, like the Norwich game where they beat us, they knew if they beat us today, it would give them the super boost and jump them up. It wasn't a normal win. It would be a massive win. And again, when we play Luton on Good Friday at the Den, which is moved to the morning, which may be helpful for us, if we win that game, it could help us massively. Again, the Blackburn, last day of the season. Can you imagine the scenes? The Millwall fans are already supporting the team. They've broken the attendance record twice now. Last day of the season, we need to beat Blackburn to get into the playoffs and to knock them out. Can you imagine the scenes? Can you imagine the scenes? And they're tired because they're in the FA Cup semi-final. Not only that, so if they get in the FA Cup semi-final, then automatically the game is moved to the 4th of May or whatever it is. So they've got to play 3 games in the last week of the season. They've got to play Saturday, midweek Saturday, or Sunday, whenever it is. So they're already knackered. But whichever way it goes, if they win that semi-final and get in the final, their heads are going to be gone. They're going to be in an FA Cup final. And they're going to have to try and compete for a playoff place as well. Can they do both? Can they? I don't know. But even if it goes the other way, if they get in a semi-final and they play a Premiership team and they get absolutely spanked, and then they're competing for a playoff to play in the Championship playoffs that will take them up to the Premier League, where they just got spanked by whoever's left in it. Who got Man United, Brighton, or Man City. So either way, that, like I said, let's all cheer for Blackburn to win the FA Cup quarter final, because that will really help us out. But yeah, this is the fine margins now. And next up we got Reading away, and we got a massive a crowd of Millwall fans going to that game. But so being Millwall fans watching this video, you know how good our home form is. Let me just show you the home table. Reading are better than us at home. So you, as a Millwall fan, you know how good we are at home. Reading are better. They've got 10 wins, 3 draws, 3 defeats. From one less game. They played 16 home games and they've got a better home record than us. So that's not going to be an easy game. Reading are shit because of their away form. They are the worst, one of the second worst away team in the league. They're literally Jekyll and Hyde. At Reading, they are better than us. They are a better home team than Millwall. So figure that out. I guess it may be because of them. I think the pitch there is quite a big pitch, isn't it? I think Millwall struggled on that big pitch. Might be a game for Oliver Burke to start again to open us up on that big pitch. But yeah, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. It never is in this league. And on that note, thank you for watching and goodbye.